A while back, Effie and I collected beautiful leaves on a walk through my neighborhood and placed them in this botanical book to dry. Here I'm showing Effie what they look like after a few weeks. Welcome back to Dephemerember 2023. It's December 19 and we're tackling today's prompt, Nature's Treasures. This is Barbara and I'm co-hosting this series with my dear friend Luise making fun ephemera in December. If you're new here, please check the link in the description box with all the information you need to catch up, including freebies and other printables as well as a playlist. I really struggled with this prompt, not because I didn't have any ideas, but on the contrary, because my head nearly exploded with so many ideas. I found it really challenging to narrow it down to just one page, but eventually I got my thoughts in order and jotted them down in my little notepad. So I have this list of steps that I want to add. I'm still not clear about the whole process. Things will evolve naturally once the project starts telling me what it wants and needs. But I'm most excited about this last one here saying grunge because there's yet another technique that Luise has come up with and I'm super excited to try that. Little Effie here is very excited. He's still in his little bed here in the scraps basket. It's so cozy for him in here. He might just stay in here today. I don't know yet. So let's start off with some grunge. So excuse me, Effie, but I'm going to have to take one of these pieces out here, and it's this one. Remember, we cut this circle out for selfie in a bubble, and I used this here as a frame. So I have these two pieces left. I love how this frames him. Hello! That is so cute. This is kind of off center, so I want to have this circle centered. So I'm going to cut that down a little bit. Okay, I think now it's pretty much a square. Effie, you get 2 more scraps. So maybe you have seen Luise's video about controlled grunge. It is a very, very detailed video where Luise shares some of her grunge experiments. So if you're into grunge and you'd like to control it a little better, please watch Luise's video. I'm going to try one of her techniques. She shows several. I'm going to use this stencil, which is one of my favorites. It's by PM Artist Studio and it's called Aqueous Effervescence. This is actually the wrong paper because this particular one here is the small pattern. There's also the large version. I will link the PM Artist Studio website below. And then I'm going to take some matte gel. In Luise's video, she talks a lot about which mediums work best for what. Luise uses tea bags, which she stains and then adheres with matte gel. And she explains why she prefers this to regular glues because the glue stays flexible and this matte gel gets really stiff, which is relevant for her technique with the tea bags. But I'm not going to use the tea bags. I'm just going to do basically a shortcut. So for detailed instructions, please go to Luise's video. So I'll add a little bit of the gel onto my mat here. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Vintage Photo spray stain. You can also try this with acrylic paints. So I'll just add a little bit here. And I hope I can do this with gloves. Luise did it with her fingers, but I don't want to do that. Surprise, surprise. So we're going to take the Vintage Photo and add it to our matte gel. And then we'll just rub it through our stencil. I don't want this to have a perfect image of my stencil. I just want parts of it. I hope it doesn't seep under the stencil too much because this is quite liquid. So it seems to work fine with the glove, so that's good news. And then I'm going to dry this just a little bit because obviously I don't want my stencil to stick onto my paper, but I also don't want it to move so much now when I take it off. So I'll just dry it a little bit. Let's lift this off. Okay, I am liking this already. It's a little bit raised. It's still shiny because it's wet, but once it has dried, it will be matte. I'll go wash my stencil. So after drying, I have this. So the shine is gone, and I think it looks absolutely great. But I want to take it one step further, just like Luise did in her video, where she used this Crypt Grit paste, which came out for Halloween. Luise said, I need this. Luise, I'm so sorry I have not opened it yet. I've had this for a while now. I guess I didn't know how to use it, so I didn't. Alternatively, you could use texture paste for this. Look at this. It has like a grayish, greenish color. You could also mix some paint with fine-grained sand if you wanted some grit or texture paste. The advantage of this is that it's not white, and so whatever color you add to it, it's going to be more dark. Luise loves this consistency. She said it's kind of like wet sand. Yeah, I think I understand what she means. So let's take a bit out. I can already see what she means, that the consistency is really nice and you can shape it really well. So what I wanted to do is to add some grunge to my edges. So let's try this with our fingers. I want this to be very uneven because I want this then to look kind of like rust. So I understand many of you will not have this product. It doesn't matter. Find inspiration in what you see in our videos and do it your own way. Maybe this inspires you to try something else. This is not about having the same products that we have. I always enjoy experimenting with different mediums. Okay, I think this is good to go. I'll put the rest back in this jar. I don't know what happened here. There's hardly any there. Oh, I could have just done it with my spatula. It's easier. As Luise was saying, it's very easy to thin it out. And I already forgot something. I wanted to add some brads in the corners here, and I want to do that before I add the grunge because I want those to get grungy as well. So I'll make some holes. This won't be big enough. So I'll make holes in the corners through the texture paste. What can I do? I specifically did not use my crocodile for this because that would be hard to clean. This one I think is easier to clean off. So I have 4 of these round brads, which I will add. Oh, they're just big enough. Oh, I think I'll have to cut down the legs. I have pretty much messed up my grit paste. So let's do that again. And this time I'll also add some on top of these brads. So we have this now. And now we're going to add some more Vintage Photo spray stain. So I have some water here and a wet brush, and I will go into this. I just don't want to get it too dark. And we'll lightly tap this onto our grit paste. As Luise said, the cool thing is that the spray stain now, it won't bleed into our design, but maybe we actually want that. I'll add some water here in a moment because this is a bit dark. Maybe I shouldn't cover up all of the green because the green also kind of looks like rust. It will dry a bit darker also. Let's spray some water here and add some water, especially here where it's so dark, and maybe blend that into the middle a little bit. I wonder if I just spritz it here, take some of the color off my brush. Maybe that would be easier because I do kind of want it to blend in. I guess that defeats the purpose of the controlled rust that Luise was trying to show. Because with this method, you can completely control it, but I do want it more random, I'm just realizing. So I dried this carefully with my heat tool, but obviously I was not careful enough because I did have some bubbling here, which I then pushed down again. But you can see the texture is different here, but it's okay. Luise warned about this in her video, but of course I don't have any patience when I'm making a video especially. So we see some nice grunge here, and I like that some of the parts are still green, so I really like this part down here. But I also want to add some gold from the middle. Before I do that, I want to roughen up this edge here of the circle. So I'll take my scissors and just scrape along that edge. Just like I did yesterday with the fabric. And then you get a rough edge like this. So then I have this rough circle, and as you can see, I've even torn some bits out because I wanted a more irregular circle. And now I'm going to take my tarnished brass spray stain, use watercolor or acrylic paint. Oh, I keep unscrewing this, but I actually just want a little bit here. And I'm again going to add this with a brush to the middle here. So I want to make sure that all of the white is covered. I want to make sure here then that it's irregular. Don't want any lines, the gold showing. And maybe I'll also add a little bit of water to help that become more organic. So Effie, what do you think? Does it look grungy? I think it does. It looks a little more golden on camera. I wish it was as golden as it looks through my viewfinder, but it's okay. I love that it's light in the middle and then gets darker around the edges. So I think we're done with the grunge. So these are all the leaves that Effie and I picked on my walk. And I want to place one here in the center. Originally, I wanted to add this one, but this now got too close to my heat tool. And it's not flat anymore. I think it would still be okay. It also lost its stem, which really makes me sad. I really wanted it to have the stem. I could definitely still glue that down. But let's see if there's other options. This one has a bit of red. It would also be all right. What about something like this? Oh, that would also work. Oh, that is very pretty. This one or this one? They're both beautiful, but I think I'd actually rather go with this one. Wow, look how this tear works perfectly with this leaf here. Okay, that is made for that. I will have to repress this. I don't know if it will get flat again. And then I wanted to have a nice background for this. So given that we have nature's treasure as a prompt, I think this is a great opportunity to use some of my eco prints. I have a video on how I made exactly these. I also have a digital version of these, and you can get those for a minus 30% using this code here at the checkout until end of January. You can find the link to these in the description box below. So now I just have to choose which one I want to use. Oh, this one here looks very wintry to me. Maybe I'll use this one. For the digitals, I think I have lightened up the colors a little bit and made them a little more vibrant. Yeah, these are too green. I want to stay with the brown tones. Yeah, let's try this one. So this would, oh, that is beautiful. This underneath. Oh, wow, that is just gorgeous. I will cut this print down to the size of this square. Maybe just a little bit less. So I have my square. This will go on top. And then we have our beautiful treasure from nature. I really like that this stem is actually over this plate. So I think I will adhere it like this. But I don't just want to have this. I actually want this to be a see-through pocket. Oh, but then I can't have the stem showing. Yeah, I can't do that. Okay, so it's going to be like this. Because what I want to do is take one of these cellophane bags, you know, that you get when you buy craft supplies. And I want to add this here so that my leaf is in between the two layers so that I can stick something in the pocket, but behind the leaf, but so that we still see this background. Does that make sense? So let's try this. I don't know if this is going to work. I've never done this. So first I'll cut off the top here. And then I'll cut this here as well. It just needs to be bigger than my circle. And then I also need to open up these edges. So I'll just cut a sliver off those. So I have two separate sheets here. So I want my leaf sandwiched in between these two layers, meaning I could glue one onto this frame. And then I need to glue the leaf onto the cellophane, but I need to find the right placement. Okay, let's first add some matte medium on the back of these leaves to glue them down. You could probably also use some other type of glue. I just want this on the back of my leaves. I don't want this smeared onto my cellophane. So I want a relatively thin layer. And I'm also trying not to go all the way out to the edges. So now I need an exact placement. So let's put this on here. Make sure this is in the middle. Make sure this is where it needs to be. And then I can place this like that. And gently lift this without breaking the stem. And I cannot use my heat tool on this because that will melt the cellophane. Okay, I think that's staying on. We will not see the back side, although it wouldn't matter because once this is dry, this is going to be clear. So wait, how does this work? This needs to be, actually, we don't even necessarily need this one. We could do this. Oh, and we could have the stem on the outside. I'm afraid this is not sticking enough. I just don't know how well this is going to stick when it's dry. Oh, but it should be fine. I mean, it's definitely more secure if I have a second layer on top. I'll protect it with this one. I'll sacrifice the stem being on the outside. So that means I will turn this one around to the side where we added the glue and put glue all around the edge. So I can stick this here in the center. Let's double check that it's in the right place. Oh no, wait, how did I have this? Ah, it was like this, okay, yeah. Oh no, it's, oh my goodness, what? No, 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 no. It's a pocket, so I don't want to close the top. Oof, got that just in time. So let's wipe away the glue here on top. This requires a lot of thinking. So I'll add some more glue on the other sides. Oh, I also have to wipe it from the top here. I'll add some water to my cloth and try to wipe that away. Oh yeah, that works beautifully. Let's try that again. So we have this. Yep. And then we take the second piece, and this one needs to be glued all the way around. Hopefully the glue won't squish over too much because this needs to stay open. And finally, we'll add this piece. I'll add glue to the 3 edges. I can't glue all the way on top because the cellophane does not go all the way to the edge. So I'll maybe just glue until here. So since this is a sturdier piece, I'm going to use my thicker PVA glue. I just have to make sure that this here stays open. I do have some glue showing here, but that is behind. So we'll see what that looks like once that has dried. Let's see if we can stick something in there. Let's try our prompt list. Yep, it works. Effie could peek out like this. How do you like that, Effie, huh? Isn't that cool? So let's look how this could look in our journal. Effie, I'm going to have to move you. I'm so sorry. I really like this one. The fabric really just invites you to touch it. So if we have this here, I thought we could maybe put it onto a jeans page, because remember we had our first page here with this grungy butterfly. The base was jeans. So we could pick up that theme again and use a jeans page. So what's cool is here we have the red. So it's kind of like a subtle red, then bam, red. And then we turn it over, and then we can have the blue moving here. You know what I mean? Like it's flowing through the journal. And also the fact that we have a round image here kind of repeats from here. So that also provides some continuity. There we go. So I need enough space here for my holes. So this could go on like this, but this is boring, isn't it? And also, it's too flimsy of a page. Maybe we can stamp on the background here with some picket fence distress ink in white. I'll try this scripty stamp. It's one of these very, very light stamps. Again, this is PM Artist Studio. And I will also again add this promo code for you below for 10% off for orders of $34 or more. So let's see if it's light enough to be visible on the jeans. So I just knead it around the edges. Yep, it's there. It actually looks a lot lighter on camera. So let's do the top part. Yeah, that's really good. I do clean these if I use something other than permanent ink. So this has had a bit of time to dry. Let's see. Does it come off? It actually comes off a little bit. So it would make sense to spray this with a fixative. I have this one here from a local art store from Bösner. For anyone in the German-speaking world, you will be familiar with this shop. It is a spray film matte. It says universal varnish with UV protection for acrylic, oil and distemper paintings, whatever those are. It has a strong smell, so if you're able to, please spray this outside. So while that dries outside, can I just show you the view from my balcony at the moment? So you see these cute fluffy snowflakes. This is just perfect. I'm so thankful for this quiet view. It makes me so happy every single day. And while we're waiting, I also want to consider one more thing to add here. Effie, maybe you can help me decide. So I have this chipboard piece right here. It would go perfectly with our nature theme. Obviously, I wouldn't leave it like this, and I've kind of torn it when I took it out. But it's still sort of staying together. And I was thinking whether to add it here. Now, on one side, I think it's adorable. On the other side, I don't like that it's covering our leaf. Like if this leaf wasn't there, I think it would be really cute. But with this leaf, I'm very undecided. Effie, what do you say? It's too much, isn't it? It's kind of taking away from the leaf, I have the feeling, because the leaf needs to be the star of this page. Yeah, as much as I would love to add these. Let me show you where these are from. I have been gifted these by my very kind friend Sonia. Excuse me, Effie, I just need to show this. So that was up here. Look at all these gorgeous chipboard pieces. I've never actually had chipboard pieces, so this is so cool because of course they are a little bit thick, so that's really nice. Let me show you the back. They're from Poland. So the company is Minte by Carola, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Here's the website. Never heard of this company either, so maybe something you want to check out. Okay, you can come back, Effie. Okay, so I guess, yeah, it's not happening for this piece. It makes me sad, but it's too much. Or what do you say? Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know if you agree or not. Let me check my notes in the meantime if I've done everything I wanted to do. Leaf as a focal point, yep. Sandwich between transparency, yes. Jeans page, yep, that's drawing. Gold, we've added here on the circle edge. Metal, in brackets, brads, yep, we have those. Eco print is our background, and grunge. Definitely have done the grunge. So while that is still drying, I want to prepare a card to go in here. Because again, of course, I want a card to add your comments to. So I can just cut this down. I want to make sure it goes in easily. So I will just barely make it wider than my circle. So I'll cut that first, and then I think I'll cut a little bit of this top off, and then we'll see how high we can go. So for the height, I also have to consider that we glued pretty far up here, so I can't have it too big. Well, we could always cut it down more if we see that it doesn't go in all the way. Or maybe I don't even want it to go in all the way. Maybe I want it to stick out. So let's cut it here and then we'll try it. So I have this. Let's see. It feels so weird sticking this in because it seems like this glue should smudge on the card, but of course that's in between the cellophane. It's really weird. Okay, I can't go further down than this, and I probably shouldn't go as far, but that is the edge of my circle. Okay, so now I need to decide, do I want it sticking out or not? I don't think I do. Okay, so I need to cut it down, but then in order to get it out easily, and actually I want to cut it from the bottom because I want this here showing. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, in order to pull it out, we'll have to add a tab or something on top. Let's erase that pencil mark. Let's make it into a tag. So again, I'm using my template. Inking up the edges with walnut stain. I considered inking it with forest moss, but I wanted it to have the warmth of the brown on the back side as well. So this is back from the balcony. Let's do another test. Yeah, nothing came off. Good. So I want to back this with something because it is too flimsy. So I have cut a piece of packaging paper, the same one I used yesterday, to add here on the back, and I cut it just as wonky as my jeans page is. I am also adding this beautiful fabric on the back side. And I chose this one because we have a prompt tomorrow which says recycled fairy. So I think this will make a beautiful backdrop for a recycled fairy. I don't have any concrete plans yet, but to me this looks like a good place for a fairy to live. What do you think, Effie? Yeah, I think so too. And this beautiful fabric is from the Tim Holtz Wallflower collection called Botanical. One of my favorite fabrics by Tim Holtz. So once again, I'm going to glue the pieces onto each other using some thinned down glue. I will be sewing around this, so I'm not going to be worried about adding glue all the way to the edges. If you don't sew, then obviously please do that. So my paper is cut a little bit smaller than my jeans fabric because I don't want that peeking out. Let's iron it down a little bit. I love this little iron. I found this at a flea market. I was so happy. It's Austrian, unbelievably. Oh, it looks like this has stretched a little bit. So I'll just cut that edge off. Here on top as well. Doesn't need to go all the way to the edge. And then let's add glue to this one. Okay, I'll take this to my sewing machine. So here's my sewn page. Love the wonkiness of it. It is a lot more stiff now. So this goes here. It will have to go more here because we need space to punch our holes. And then we have our tag, which will go in here well, it'll go in between, but it's just easier to do this now. So this will pretty much go all the way down. So we want to add a tab up here. I thought about adding a jeans tab, but that would be too matchy-matchy with this background. Then I thought about adding a piece of the same botanical fabric here. Obviously, it would fit great for our theme, but since it's the only green thing here, I kind of think it stands out a bit too much. I kind of like it, but then it's kind of taking too much attention. So I thought, let's try some of my rusty fabric. I unfortunately did this off camera. I really love how it turned out. I can only tell you I laid some rusty objects on this fabric. I put it on my baking tray and I kept spritzing it with a mixture of vinegar and water. I think it was pretty much half-half. It's been a while since I've done this. And then I just kept spritzing it. Every time it dried a little bit, I spritzed it again over, I think, like 2 days. And then I let it dry, and this is what came out. And I think this won't take as much attention away because it's kind of a similar color scheme. So I want to try this one. Yeah, this one is it. No doubt in my mind. So let's attach this. I don't want to add anything else here on this tag. It is so beautiful. Maybe I will add some of your comments even on the front because I think that might look cool through this as well if there's some writing, but I don't know yet. I will definitely be adding some of your kind comments here on the back. So let's stick this in. I can even have it stick out just a little bit if I wanted to. No, that doesn't look good. I don't like that line. Okay, so we have this. I'm super happy with this choice. And now we need to adhere this pocket onto our page. And I could even adhere it as another pocket. That way I could add even more of your wonderful comments. So how do we want this? We could have that sideways. So we'd have a top loading one and a side loading one. So no glue here, very important. Let's clamp this down. Getting out my heavy duty clamps because these are the only ones that reach farther in. These are by Wolfcraft. I'm sure there's other brands as well. I found these on Amazon and they have them smaller as well. Just want to make sure that this is really adhered well. It's been about 15 to 20 minutes. Let's take all these clamps off. This glue here is just not drying. Okay, this seems stuck down well. We still have an opening here. Hopefully, oh no, did I glue my tag in? No. Okay, we can still take the tag out. All is good. Let's figure out our holes here on the side. You'll have to move a bit, Effie. Okay, so this is where it should go. I have my template. Actually, it's like this. Let's draw the holes. Again, I'll take a piece of paper underneath so that the holes punch better. Yep, that's pretty good. So we can add it. So I am cutting out Nature's Treasure from the big version of the prompt list. Again, this is in the link for the Dephemerember landing page under the freebies. Of course, we're inking that up with walnut stain. Looks a bit naked down here. So I have this strip of jeans material. Yeah, I think that's good. It's subtle, but it does give extra interest. I'm just using my art glitter glue because it's here. I already put the other one away. I am so lazy. It's such a small piece. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's gonna go down here. One day this will be dried. Somehow I feel it looks very plain, but on the other hand, I don't want to take away from nature's treasures, right? So I don't think I want to add anything else. There is beauty in simplicity. Let's just hang on to that. I'm going to call this one done. We can cross it off. And tomorrow we're doing recycled fairies. I am so excited. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but it's gonna be fun. Let's go check out Luise's video. I'm so excited to see what she has done. Her playlist is linked below. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.